Here's my Fortnite Save the World in-depth weapon review for the Corsair Sword, the sword that you can obtain from the YARRRR questline. So my supporter creator code is Salvaje. If you guys want to rock that, I would highly appreciate that. With that said, let's get straight into the video. So you absolutely need to get this sword. Make sure that you guys do your YARRRR questline. It's just a sword that's really worth your time. Make sure that you also get the mythic constructor from the YARRRR questline and the pistol at the end of the questline as well. That pistol is a beast. I will be reviewing it soon, of course. So how good is the Corsair Sword? Well, quite honestly, it's not a spectral blade, right? It's not the best sword in the game, but it's very, very close to a spectral blade. If you didn't have a chance to get the spectral blade, I absolutely recommend that you get this sword. And honestly, you should just get this sword, whether you use swords or not. One of the things that I really like about Fortnite Save the World is that you never really know what loadouts you're going to be using in the future. So in other words, let's say that a ninja comes out and you don't buy the new ninja, and in the future you find yourself playing ninjas, but you didn't buy that ninja that's basically now a top tier hero. Well, you basically just missed out on a really great weapon or a really great ninja. And the same thing applies to this sword. I wanted to point this out at the beginning of the review because a couple of people missed out on the Spectral Blade because, well, they just never thought they were going to be using swords. But now the Spectral Blade is the best sword in the game, and a couple of people basically regret not getting the Spectral Blade. Look, the point is, you absolutely want to get the Corsair. I didn't test this thing with full legendary perks as I usually do on all my weapon reviews, because I think when you test a weapon with full legendary perks, it doesn't really showcase how the weapon can perform at the intermediate and low high-end levels of play. And I have to say, guys, despite the fact that I didn't test this thing out with full legendary perks, it doesn't even need full legendary perks to perform at an above average level. So let's talk about the damage and all that stuff. This thing is going to be melting basic husk from 0 to 100 real quick, and sometimes I would melt a basic husk with just one slice. On top of all that, the weapon is also really, really good when you're surrounded, right? If you get surrounded by a lot of husks, you can definitely defend yourself, and even though the sword has a medium swing speed, the great damage that the sword provides is able to basically make up for the slow swing speed that the sword has. Okay, it's a really, really good melee weapon. I would definitely put this sword on my best swords of Fortnite Save the World video, by the way. Anyways, another thing that I really like about this sword that makes it stand out is that it has the Stab Sword the third heavy attack. It's basically a heavy attack where you sort of swing your sword in like heavy arcs, and you basically just destroy everything in your way. It's really, really good. It's a really nice high damaging attack that it's going to be able to help you melt Husky Husk from 0 to 100 real quick as well. High health targets like blasters and takers are also going to go down really, really quickly. But for the most part, something that I noticed throughout my testing, of course I didn't test it with full legendary perks, maybe with full legendary perks is a bit different, but you are gonna have to use the heavy attack on the high health targets like blasters, for example, if you want to finish them off very quickly, because again, guys, this isn't a spectral blade, right? It's not a sword that is able to dish out massive DPS, but it's still a really good sword, guys. Again, a top tier weapon. I just want to point that out again because I don't want people to miss out on this sword. It's a great sword. Anyways, this sword also has what's this thing called, 20% critical hit chance, and basically what that means is that when you get the critical rating all the way up to legendary, I think it's going to be at 48% critical hit chance. If you have whiteout Fiona, you can get this 48% to like 52%, I believe. Don't quote me on the numbers, but the point is you're going to be able to be landing critical damage shots very often with this sword, and that's what makes this sword a threatening powerhouse. Okay, guys, the fact that you're going to be landing a lot of critical damage shots is going to make the sword really good. I tested this sword with 2 critical rating perks on legendaries and a critical rating perk on legendary and 2 critical damage perks. One of the critical damage perks was on legendary. And something that I realized throughout my testing is that if you want this sword to be effective and you want it to be I guess you could say really decent when it comes down to damage, and you want the sword to be a good melee weapon overall, you absolutely need double critical damage on this sword, because that extra damage that you're going to be getting from your critical damage swings, it's definitely going to be important when it comes down to high priority targets like blasters, for example. The sword did struggle a little bit when it came down to smashers, I'm not gonna lie, but honestly that's not really a big deal, because for smashers I can just take out a bundle bus, or I can use the special perk that this sword brings into the table. When I get a critical damage swing with this sword, I'm going to be having, I believe, don't quote me on the numbers, but I think it's like 40% more headshot damage for my pistols. So basically what that means is you get a crit, you get a crit swing with your sword, and then you bring out the pistol that you get at the end of the YARRRR questline, and then you're able to headshot a smasher for a lot of damage, okay? So that's why you absolutely need to get this sword as well. It goes really, really well with pistols. If you don't have the pistol from the YARRRR questline, my bad, I meant to say YARRRR questline, then it's okay. You can actually just use a bald eagle. That's actually what I was using when I didn't unlock, when I hadn't unlocked the pistol yet from the questline. The point is, guys, this is just a really good sword, definitely top tier. When it comes down to the star rating, though, it's a bit complicated. I don't want to give 5 out of 5 stars to every weapon that I like, honestly. In my opinion, I think with full legendary perks, this sword is definitely a 5 out of 5 stars. But you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to give this sword a 5 out of 5 stars. Here's why. Because this sword is able to dish out great, consistent damage. The strengths that it has basically make up for every weakness that the sword has. But most importantly, this sword synchronizes well with pistols, right? And sometimes, you get a critical damage swing with the sword, and then you bring out the bald eagle, or then you bring out that pistol that you get at the end of the YARRRR questline, and you're basically just able to melt and miss monsters and things from 0 to 100 real quick. So that's why I'm giving the sword a 5 out of 5 stars. It's just really good. It synchronizes really great with pistols. It's a great sword overall. Make sure that you guys don't miss out on it, and I'll be seeing you guys on my next weapon review.